Hi guys, in case you ever wondered what happens when you have a flat on a trailer dolly. Hi guys, just in case you ever wondered what happens when you have a flat on a tow dolly behind a motorhome. This is how the tire ended up. I would show you the fender, but there's nothing left of it. And today I'm going to attempt to replace the fenders, both of them, both sides, with new fenders and see if I can do a better job of making them a little more secure than the manufacturer did. So wish me luck, and we'll do this together and see how it works. Well, here is the mounting plate for the fender, and this is what's left, all that I had left. Also the wiring, as you can see here, and got a little chewed up. We're gonna have to straighten that out. Also, this bar here was actually bent all the way back, and that's probably what caused the tire to totally self-destruct. And I've got it pretty straight. I'm gonna attempt to get it a little bit straighter in here. It's probably straight enough for me to use it now, but see if I can get it a little bit better. I was using a torch to heat it up a little bit and pound it out, and I ran out of gas, so I'm going to see if I can continue on with that process now that I got a little bit more gas. So wish me luck on that too. Well, I went ahead and took off the 4 bolts that held the old fender on the side that was still on the dolly. This fender I had repaired a couple of years ago because actually somebody hit me in a parking lot and broke this corner here off, and I had fabricated this piece of metal and replaced this light in here, but actually for some reason that light was cracked right down at the corner too, totally unrelated to this. So anyway, I'm going to end up replacing that with this. This is a fender that I got from trailer, and I think this was somewhere around $30. I got 2 of them for 60 plus tax, I think, free shipping, I think it was. I can't remember now, but anyway, we'll open that one up and see if this one here should be able to replace that one and maybe last a little bit longer. So let's get into it. This is on the side that was good, wasn't damaged from the tire, and I basically held it up in place, estimated out my my bolt pattern there, made a couple of marks and drilled some holes, and got it mounted up in there. I'm a little concerned about how flimsy it is, but the other one was just as flimsy. Now the original had some mounting brackets for reinforcements that were in the corners down here, and this was one of the original brackets. You can see how that would mount down in there. It's a little challenging because the original continued on straight across. It was lower, so if I put that up in there, I got to be higher. So I'm going to try to see if I can use something a little bit more substantial and continue off this bracket here and bring it on down and see what happens. So wish me luck, and we'll continue on. I'm in my daughter's garage. Don't have a lot of heavy tools here, and I'm a full-time RVer for the last 20 years, so I really don't have a lot of heavy equipment, bending vices and everything. In fact, this little vise here belonged to my grandfather, and I've carried it with me and clamped it to many a picnic table and campgrounds to do a lot of work over the years. Anyway, it's always been able to get me through what I needed, so wish me luck again. Anyway, what I need to do is I'm going to try to fabricate this heavier strap stock there into an L bracket, but I need a radius corner that would fit in this radius here without stressing the plastic too much. And I want it to be heavier metal too. So I'm going to bend 4 of these brackets, hopefully, with fire. This is just matte gas, but I've used it before. By the way, it's such an old torch, it doesn't even have an auto igniter. So wish me luck. Here we go. Now I'd call that a success. In fact, I may have carried it a little bit too far. There we go. Well, let that cool, and I got 4 more to do. And then we'll see about fitting it up on the fender and the mounting brackets there. Okay, I'm back outside and I have a fender here temporarily just held in place. Let me see how this bracket will fit up in here. This is my idea to do something like that. And that way there, I'll put some bolts through down here where my little finger is, and put a couple up there. I might put a couple of something for a shim up behind it, right there, and bolt it in there too. I don't know. Let's see how it starts looking once I start putting it all together. But I think that should do a better job than this little bracket that they had. In fact, they just had it down here bolted to the plastic originally. I mean, I could get this up in there like that, but then I'd just be bolting plastic to plastic. That's why I wanted something heavier, thinking that this would probably do a better job. Okay, let me get the drill out, clamp everything in place, and see if we can go forward. Okay, we're out here at the tow dolly again, and I did do one other thing. I put these in the vise and put a little bow in them right here, and they had a tendency to bend right where the hole was anyway. So I have a slight curve in this fender here. I'm going to try to match that. Try to keep as much stress off the fender plastic as I can. Try to get this flat up against it, which it looks like it's going to do a pretty good job. And you get a pair of vice grips, clamp this in position, and maybe drill some holes. I'm pushing it flush against the plastic. Making sure that it looks like it's even with it all the way across, or can be. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Looks really good. Okay. Flush up there. Yeah. Let me drill a hole here and put a bolt through it. I'm using 1/4-20s, 1 inch long. Probably could use something shorter, but if I have to, I'll cut them down when I'm done. A little lower. Okay. Okay, I'm using a impact drill driver with special new set of bits that they have out in Milwaukee, and they are made for impact drive. They have a totally different angle. I think it says 135 degrees, guaranteed no walking. Well, actually it didn't seem to want to walk any. So far they're doing a really good job. And the nice thing about this impact is, you know how a drill a lot of times right as you go through it will start to bind up. Well, now if it binds up, all it does is ratchet, so you don't get it you know, twisting your arm off. I've had it actually break a bit because of that. So actually I'm very happy with this drill so far. Impact, I don't know, I haven't done a lot with it yet, so I'll find out as time goes on. Okay, let me get the nut, and I'm using oops, hope I didn't shake the camera too much there. I'm using Nylock's nuts in the back side and the fender washer to spread out the force of the nut on the plastic on the back. You see here, and the Nylock's, so I know this thing gets a lot of vibration going down the road. I figured it would be better than trying to use a lock nut or anything. On the back side, and I'm going to tighten that up and see how it goes here. Whoops, that's one. Yeah, this impact, I love it, but it has a tendency to hit the direction trigger by accident all the time. There we go. This started again, and all the way through my finger accidentally hit it in reverse direction and then undid it. So okay, good and tight. And drill one up here now. Okay. 1/4-20 fender washer. I have some LED lights that are en route to me that I'll be putting on these, and those are some little cheap things I bought on eBay. Let me see how good they are. They claimed they were waterproof, and people used them on boat trailers and complained about water getting in them, but I'm not really worried about that. So okay, that's my idea for making this a lot sturdier than just the plastic hanging out there. Probably end up putting a second bolt in here, line it up with these two holes that are already here. I gotta do that, whoops, 4 times on here, and I think I'll be ready. On this particular side, this little bracket right here, I had this mounted back in here. Not sure how I'm going to do it on this, because this gives me something else to mount to. When I tow, I have a cable in my car that connects up to the lights in my car. and I just, when I run it through the bottom of the door, plug it in here, and that way the tail lights and actually the parking lights up front light up at nighttime, and the directionals all work in the car. So that's why that's hanging down here. I'm not 100% certain how I'm going to mount it over here, and that's why that bracket's sitting down over here, if you can see it. Let me move the camera. That's why that bracket there is there. It was just left over. I just put it there to act as a fender washer, really, while I was working on it. So let me get started on this now. I do have 2 of them done. I did one over here as a test to see how it was going to work, and then I did this one here. I probably will cut this off because the tire is going to be here. Oh, while I'm talking about tires, I have tires coming today, and this is the tire that I had on here. It's a trailer tire, ST20575 R14s. These are load range C's. That's what it calls for. These tires are the second set of tires I had on this tow dolly. This tow dolly was bought in 2014 from a dealer down in Florida. He may have had it a little while, I don't know. It was right at the end of the season. He follows the RVers, I think, and sells these things. But anyway, the dolly came with bias ply tires, and I don't think I used it a year and a half. And I went to go on a trip and happened to look down at it, and the tread was just wavy, worn out down to the cord in patches. Not worn like deflation, worn like it's a bad tire. I mean, at one place there it was, flat across it. The cord was showing 8 inches away. It's got deep thread. Then 6 inches away from that, it's the cord showing. Yep. The camera cut off there for a second. Let me cut it back on. But anyway, I was talking about the tires. I probably should have contacted Carlisle, the company that made the tires. But naturally, when you're in the pinch and getting ready to go someplace, you don't have the time to track down a dealer, contact the manufacturer, get a swap out, So I just bought these at a tire dealer down in Florida, had them mounted. And, the tread and everything, the tire looks good. Naturally, on a tow dolly, the side over here on the passenger side that's closest to the curb, and the way the roads wear on the interstates and highways here, you're hitting more potholes running off the edge of the road on the right hand side. This is the tire that gets all the abuse. So historically, this is the one that's going to give you the problem. So these tires are load range C. According to the manual, you run them up to 50 psi. The max pressure on them is 50 psi. I think it's like 1700 or something like that, or close to it. Load rating, if you do the math, my car is a Chevy Volt, believe it or not. There, sitting over there. There it is. It's Volty. Anyway, we bought that in 2014. We bought the tow dolly, and the weight on that car, I've gone across scales when I go to a dump down in Florida, and I see it with 2 people on board. It's right at 3,000 pounds, or just under. So without it, I'm under 3,000 pounds. Nobody's in it when we're towing. It's 500 pounds for the dolly, a little bit of tongue weight. So anyway, you sit down and do the math, and I mean, basically these tires ought to be able to carry just about the whole car if it had to. Now the Volt is probably a little front end heavy. It is a heavy car for this size because of the battery pack. But anyway, just to be on the safe side, I did order load range D tires. They are rated, I think, for 65 psi max. I'm not going to run them at 65 psi at max. These were rated at 50 psi. I'm probably going to double check this on the internet looking for some tables there, but probably run them about 55. Maybe I'll get a little more flex in the sidewall. It won't run quite as rough on the road. And if anybody has any idea or anything whether they think I should run it at 65 or not, let me know in the comments. But anyway, that's my idea, and it's a work in progress. Sometime today the tires are coming. Bought them online from Walmart. They seem to have the best deal. Good ball, I think, or something like that was the. I'll verify that when I get them. They made a lot of specialty tires on the internet. They looked like they were pretty good reviews. You know, everything on these trailer tires basically that I could find are made in China nowadays. So I don't know if one's better than the other, but figured if I went to load range D, I'd be better off in trying to just keep the C's, and there wasn't $5 or $10 per tire difference. Anyway, let me let you go and do the other side over there. I am gonna probably start the camera up. I'm gonna, since I have gas now, take this bracket here off, put it in the vise, and or else I've got a piece of steel in there to bang it on in the garage, and see if I can get this a little bit straighter, and then proceed on that. So catch up with you. Okay, now I'm set up in the garage, and see what I can do here. I'm gonna see about just heating this up some. I'll use this little adapter here as an anvil, closest thing I have to it, and then seeing about beating the heck out of it with my big hammer. Well, actually, I don't have a big hammer, but I do have an axe maul that weighs 6 pounds, so I'm going to try to use that to come down hard on it and straighten this out. So wish me luck, and we'll see what happens. I have to work fast because it's not that hot in here, but it's not that cool, and for you to pick up audio, I got to turn the fan off. So here we go. Glowing red here. Let's see what happens. Opened up, flattened it up a lot. See if I can do it again there. Try it again. The other side now and beat it. Which side I was going to beat. I've put a coat of paint on it, try to keep the rust down, and I think that's about as straight as I can get it. I can't get that down because I don't have anything big enough to pound on to try to get a good 90-degree angle on that again. But considering that was bent back 180 degrees, sitting just like that, it's halfway decent for a shade tree mechanic. So, okay, let me see about putting this back on and proceeding. Okay. Yeah, these use some flush, big 11. Well, the nuts are 11 seconds, but I think they're really oversized for the. It's no 5 5/16. If I remember right. Bolts. Okay. Really close to the back of that drum. Next thing we gotta do is get another fender on here. Mark that up and go for it. Okay. I can keep this on and that off. Tightening up. Let me get another impact here. Just a second. It's supposed to have more oomph behind it. So let me see. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay. That's on there now. And okay, let me I got a bolt here I need to get off. And there's an extra washer I was missing too, so I wouldn't lose it. I put it there and forgot about it. Okay. Whew. Let me get that fender. Really easy. Set it there and mark, and I think I went up 1 inch. So let me pause you for a second and go get my Sharpie and be right back. Okay. Basically eyeballing this and sewing it up. I'm going to make a mark for this one. A mark for this one on the center. And the back one, since it's bent up, I know it's not going to be the same as everything else, so I'm just going to drill these 2 holes and then measure up, and actually I could use this as a guide to the second hole up from that one. And then that one over there, once I get it drilled in position, I can manually mark that. I think that's my goal. So okay, let me get going. And now I got to find me a... And I'm going to measure up 1 inch. An inch. And should be able to use this as a template. I center that one up. Ooh, I have to get it straight though. That's the only thing. And decide what's the best way to do that. Got a lot of leeway really, so too many angles to look at to eyeball that. So let me get those 2 down and see about marking the other 2 once I get it